Right then, the plan was to do the second round match, Kalinina against Maria in Cleveland. Kalinina quite recently pulled out. Curse of the live stream continues. Got a couple of alternatives. Both matches are scheduled to start at 6. There's one in the US Open qualifiers, which is Gadecki against Tan. There's also Chicago Challenger, one that's on the screen at the minute, Lou against Hunter. Better standard of players. Both matches have very little matched. The Lou match has just over 2,000 matched. Gadecki v Tan 1,300. So it just might be an interesting change to the normal stream. I'll go through the two matches and decide which one looks like being the better one. So this is the page from Tennis Profits. Lou against Hunter in Chicago. Head-to-heads, Lou has won there on the previous match. That was in 2021 on clay, 3 sets. Obviously on a hard court today, hard court win percentages better for Hunter. I only use that as a fairly rough guide because that doesn't take into account whether it's main tour, challenger, ITF, whatever. That's just all matches. So if we look in a little bit more detail, Lou first on the left hand side, second round in Warsaw, third round Miami, which is a good result. One of her opponents, Siniakova, did retire. Second round Indian Wells, lost in the qualifying rounds Dubai, lost in the qualifying rounds in Abu Dhabi, second round Australian Open, second round Adelaide. And because we've got the US Open next week, in the trading tips email I've just been including how they did at the US Open. You've got to be careful the week before any of the slams. You never know who's going to pull out, who might have a slight injury, slight strain, and they just don't want to make it worse. They can have their biggest payday, or biggest paydays, if they get into all 4 slams. So it's worth it for them. They obviously pick up for any win that they can get more ranking points than they would for winning a match in a bog standard tournament. For a lot of the lower ranked players, it really just depends on literally the luck of the draw, who they come up against. So nothing spectacular there. She's had a tiny bit of success. Third round at Miami is decent. That was back in March. Storm Hunter, she's gone through the qualifying round. There was only one qualifying round this week. Beat Osorio in the last round, straight sets. First round in Miami as qualifier. And the rest of her best results have been in ITFs. And did she play the US Open? Possibly not. No, she didn't. So just as a quick overview there, that would favour Lou. Let's look at actual stats. So initially I'm going to compare, even though it's in a challenger, I'm going to compare main tour stats on hard courts and in the last year. Just remove those. Some of the key ones to look at: service hold percentage, return points 1%, and then first serve points 1% and second serve points 1. So it's fairly even there. Service hold's better for Hunter. First serve points 1, slightly better for Lou. Second serve points one slightly better for Hunter. Of the two, the first serve points one and second serve points one, I give it a little bit more weight to the first serve. And predicted holds favour Lou. So there's not a lot in that really, but I would give a slight edge to Lou. Now obviously we've got the added variable US Open next week. Neither of these players will think they've got any chance, for example, of getting to the second week. But as I said, if they can get a decent draw and a couple of wins, that can be a bigger than normal payday for them. So that's a possibility. They start 1.77 for Lou, fairly even. So that's a possible one. Quite like the look at that one. Now the other one is the US Open qualifying rounds. Gadecki against Tan. They play mostly ITFs. You can see from all these low-level tournaments, which means low-level opponents. So I'll go through the process as I do for all matches. They haven't. I always research the same way. Slight changes if the bog standard research doesn't really give me an answer as to who's a stronger player, then I can look into more detail. So let's see what we've got. They haven't played before. Win percentages on hard courts better for Gadecki. That is relevant here because they both play mostly ITFs, so we are comparing apples to apples instead of apples to Muppets. I'm not sure what that means. Last season, Tan lost in 3 sets to Andreescu. Not a bad effort. Gadecki didn't play. What have they done recently? I say pretty much all ITFs. She's had a semi-final in August, won a title in June, another final in Feb. So she's had some good results on the ITF tour. Wait a minute. That says no previous matches. Oh, ignore me. Getting mixed up between the two. I saw Stolen Hunter and thought, no, they have played different match. More on. Now she did reach the second round, the Australian Open. So a rare win. Although a weak opponent, that's the weaker of the Gudamatovas. She's had some reasonable results on the ITF tour. On the other side, Dana lost first round of a challenger last week. Semis of an ITF. July final of an ITF. So 1 or 2 reasonable efforts, but nothing spectacular. So if we look at the stats, that makes them easier to compare. No point comparing main tour, so I'm going to click on, sorry, selected all tours. We are on hard courts and 12 months. So straight away, Gadecki leads service holds. She also leads first serve points 1 percentage. She also leads second serve points 1. So that's a strong indication for me that she's a stronger player. Dan does lead on return points 1 percentage. Let me just change that to challenges and ITFs. So we'll populate the predicted holds, which is going to Gadecki. So I'm favouring Gadecki in that one. And again, she starts around 1.7. I'll have a look at the actual markets. So the two favouring player on the left, Lou and Gideki. So they're both scheduled to start. One of them should be on there at 6 o'clock. So we've still only got, that's the US Open qualifying rounds, 1400. Seems to be a little bit more money as you'd expect coming into the Challenger. I think I'm going to go for that one. Let's go for the Challenger. It's still a pittance matched at the minute, but hopefully when the match starts, the money will start to flow in. Probably slowly. Yeah, we'll go with the Challenger. Let me just check flash scores. Okay, flash scores still have it. Not that that always means anything. Starting at 6. So a few minutes to wait for that one. So I didn't really want to change the time again. It does, from a selfish point of view, it does suit me to have the stream at this time. Could be an interesting match to show. It's not going to be huge liability. Liquidity. It's been a long day, a very long day. Low liquidity matches. You need to be really careful how you trade them, if you trade them at all. So you can watch me do it so you don't have to. So I'll just check the stats that everything is connected as it should be. All looks good. Hopefully the usual 2 to 3 second delay. Audio settings have been working a lot better since I looked into that in a bit more detail. Turn my microphone around the right way. Always helps. If you don't currently subscribe to the Trading Tips email, why not? It's a good time to join. US Open next week. The first 2 days there will be 64 matches each day. And obviously as players get knocked out, there'll be a little less, but the first 2 days are pretty brutal. You'll get the type of research that I've just shown you there for every match, every main tour match. You get that anyway, 7 days a week for the whole season. Pretty much the whole season this time. There's I think 3 days I'm taking off in November, which is pretty much when everything's finished. Usually when I go away I do take my laptop. I'm rebelling and not taking it this time. If this is the first time you've watched one of the streams, really good chance for me to pass on as much information as possible during a match. So much better, as anybody has seen my typing over the last 10 years. My typing's abysmal. Typos galore. So much easier just to talk over a microphone. Try and explain everything I'm doing, reason for it. If I'm not getting into a trade, I'll explain that as well. And hopefully, regardless of how the trade goes, you'll find something useful. Pick at least one little snippet of information up. It's been worthwhile. I've tried to improve the quality of the streams, just as in images, and also the sound. Can't do much about the matches. Actually, what I didn't go through was the plan for this, did I? So I'm favouring loot. I'll just actually switch the ladders over because I think they're going to be the other way around. She's actually a very slight underdog. So in that case, what I would do is wait for a lower price on Hunter. So I'm probably looking for around about 165 to late. Hunter, favouring Lou to win. Yeah, how many times did you have to retype my typo before you got it right, though? It's counterintuitive. Whereas I have a flair for it, you see. First time. So hopefully I get a half decent match. I don't expect huge liquidity anyway, so I'm going to have to be careful with stake size. On paper, fairly even. It's definitely not guaranteed that Lou's going to win it. Hunter can have days where she does perform really well. The reason players are ranked lower, is this going to make sense, is because they're less consistent than the players higher up the ladder. They've still got, most of them have got the shots, the same shots. It's down to their thought process during a match, shot selection, sometimes fitness, but always consistency that will let them down, which can make them good to trade. Whilst it was a little frustrating that Kalinina's pulled out, of the 4 matches in Cleveland, that was my least favoured one. It's just at the time suited me. If I wasn't going to trade a match, that would have been it. So I'm not totally disappointed that that hasn't happened. I was favouring Maria to win, so I suppose I got the winner right, sort of. Be good to get this week out of the way, just not knowing how players are going to perform, although to be fair, predictions have been pretty good. Obviously, as you get later in the week, you're probably more likely to get players turning more of their attention to next week. And if they've just got a little niggle, a little injury, a little strain that they don't want to aggravate, so they do get potentially their biggest paydays of the whole season in the slams, even if they can just get an odd win. 2 wins would be a bonus. Certainly more than they'll get for ITFs or challenges. Alexandrova got the win, straight sets. Not an easy one. She did serve for the first set, got broken. Came out of that with a small profit, although I'd laid her when she was serving at, was it 4-3? Didn't bother laying her when she served for the set, and that's when she was broken. You see there a little bit of a drift on Lou since this morning. Let's check the order of play. Oh, Chicago. We're looking at Baindal Chang. Potentially. I don't want Baindal to screw this up. 7-4-2 up. Let's watch that one. Again, if this is the first time you've watched the stream, I do include the match video in the stream, but not the audio. It's the audio that seems to get you into trouble with YouTube's copyright detectors. They never do this. I just looked at the time for Cleveland. According to that, they've brought forward the Kudermetova match. They never do that. Never do that. Play that. Okay. What do we do? Anybody in the chat, what do we do? Do we trade that one? I wish they make the only lined up. Try and anticipate what they're going to do because it's what they normally do and they change it. Kudermetova is going to have more liquidity. Okay, executive decision. We're back in Cleveland. Well, at least you've seen how I would have approached it. It'd be interesting to look throughout the next couple of hours as to how those two matches did go based on the research. I'd rather trade a match with reasonable liquidity. So it's been a bit of a shit show so far. Bit of variety. Bit of reality as well, because this can be how a normal trading session goes. It's not always smooth and organised. It's certainly not mine. Okay, so we've got 47 matched on this one. Betfair do have it starting in 2 minutes. It's probably going to start before the other two matches. I mean, it's like trying to figure out what my wife's thinking. "21 years, I'm nearly there, but some days, total curveball." Let's get some stats up. They never do that. They never bring that forward. Because that doesn't give Tomo and Kudermetova, they've prepared themselves to be playing in an hour and a half. Don't know I do that. We'll never figure it out. There's no point figuring it out because they'll change it the next time anyway. So just suck it up. Put up with it. It is like being married. The more I talk like that, it is like being married, isn't it? She's a star, my wife. I'll have nothing bad said about her. Except that I have no idea what she's thinking sometimes. Although she does say the same about me, so fair enough. Right, let's bring up the notes for that one. Never dull, these live streams, are they? You have no idea what's going on. All we need now is a rain delay. Okay, they have played once before. Tomo won that in 2020 on a hard court. That went to 3 sets. Hard win percentage is better for Kudermetova. Sorribes Tomo reached the second round last season. Lost in the qualifying rounds this week. Should beat Siniakova, who retired. Lost in the first round of the US Open. She's had decent results last season, not played many matches this year. Kudermetova beat Podoroska in 3 sets. Recent form's not been great. I think she's had a little bit of an injury. Good results earlier in the year. Semis in Doha, semis and quarterfinals in the 2 Adelaide tournaments. She reached the 4th round of the US Open, so she's definitely a player who could have one eye on next week, so we need to be careful of that. Recent dip in form, as I said, possibly due to injury. If she is over that problem and wants a few matches this week, she'll be too strong for Sorribes Tormo. Did put a typo. Of course I put a typo in the trading advice email. I did originally put to back Tormo around about 2.1 to 2.2. That should have been, and I did send out a correction. That should be back Kudermetova 2.1 to 2.2. Remove some liability at 1.6. Price wise, 2 ticks different to when I wrote that, so those targets are going to stand 2.1 to 2.2. I can't live with them. Can't bury them in the garden because it's full of cats. That's my stock answer to that one. Post in the chat room for those of you who are not in the chat room. I think anybody who, well, either anybody who is married or anybody who trades WTA will always talk about how difficult women are to predict. I certainly couldn't do what I do without a very supportive wife in the background. She didn't always like the fact that I was at home all day when I first started trading full time. She had a difficulty getting her head around the fact that I wasn't going out to work. She's quite a traditional minded woman. Happy with it now. The money helps. So I don't really have favourite players, but I do quite like Kudermetova when she's in form. Fairly consistent. Oh, why has he got an umbrella up? Pack it in. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So maybe switch back to the Challenger. Why do they hate my live streams? Sodding rain, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Just leave me alone to trade the matches. Right, so I'll keep an eye on the challenge, Challenger. If it's raining that one, I'm going to have a beer. Baindle did finish that one. 6-2 in the second. Lou Hunter, according to Flash Scores, due to start at 6:25. So that's the backup plan. Is there any tournament that hasn't had rain this year? I want to put a few tournaments on in Africa. Flood the plains. It's pissing it down. It's a technical term known to tennis traders. They just don't want me to trade these Cleveland matches. Okay, let's put that one on the back burner. Open up the other one. Let's leave both the stats up. I mean, it is absolutely wanging it down. Cheers. Lou Hunter. So is this plan D? E? Can't keep up. Look at the rain. Well, we might do Lou Hunter. Don't want to promise anything. Can always do football. I'll say the previous match has finished. Court is now clear. Reminder, the plan for the Hunter match was 1.65 target to lay on Storm Hunter, favouring Lou to win. Massive 3,000 matched already. Go on, let me trade one. Teaches you patience, does tennis trading? Well, you either pack it in or you learn patience. So from the research I did at the start, I'll just keep an eye on the Gadecki Tan US Open qualifier. Favouring Gadecki to win from the quick bit of research. Come on, get them on court before it rains. Some half decent players in the Chicago Challenger. Got a few logged into the stream. Appreciate you taking the time. I think you'll agree it's been pretty smooth so far. Polished performance. So as I said a little bit earlier, if the liquidity is low, and obviously I knew the liquidity was going to be low in these, I just thought that would make interesting alternative to the planned stream, which was coming in yet against Maria. Problems with low liquidity markets is if you're trying to scalp them, don't. Easy enough to get your first trade in, but getting out at a decent price is nigh on impossible. But if you're swing trading, it's just a little bit more forgiving. Yeah, I should be on the stage or under it. Come on, the court's empty, get 'em on. Peterson beat Kanepi in 3 sets in Chicago. Yeah, I think I'll stick to what I'm doing. You have to dress up on TV. I'm sat here in my shorts. Air conditioning going. Well, cheap version of air conditioning. Shouldn't be long now. $3,200 matched. Quick check of the stream, everything going smoothly. Apart from the fact that we haven't got a match to trade yet, everything else is going fine. Did spend most of the day at Cadbury's World today with the grandkids. If it's within travelling distance of where you are, I don't recommend it. It's quite disappointed. They do give you a shed load of chocolate, but I think that's because everything else is shite. Just to make up for it. Right, did we have a match? Come on, match video, you can do it. There we go. Oh, they're nearly ready to start. No, just in the warm-up. Now you've got to pre-book it. It's about 18 quid each. Which, when you think the kids are like 4 and 9, that's quite steep. But I don't know if I was expecting it to be like Willy Wonka. You get a big tour and see how everything's made and everything. It's just crap. Just little screens that didn't always work all the time, and a couple of films to watch. The seats shook at one point. And you keep thinking, just let me get out of here. Let's go and have something to eat. You can't get out. You've got to go through the whole maze of... Peed off halfway through. Just get stuff in my mouth of chocolate. Won't be taking them there again. Anyway, Lou to serve. She could have a dodgy first service game. Could get our entry price. I mean, if you want to lose them, it's a good place there. Really badly designed as a playground. You're supposed to go in it, you just don't see them unless you go in it, and all the little spaces are so small. Oh, was fortunate they just came out when I was looking for them. I couldn't have got in there. Right. Enough talking bollocks. Let's trade some tennis. Just trying to see if tennis profits is going to give me situation stats. I don't think it is. Anyway, do without. Blue to serve, here we go. 3,300 matched. One option, excuse me, when you're trading a match that is low liquidity is don't enter at the start. Give it a chance to well, give yourself a chance to see if the liquidity is going to come in. It really should be okay for this one, especially as there's no play in Cleveland. So look at the gaps between these best available back and lay prices. You'd expect it's up to 8,000. Money's coming in. Bit of pressure on loot. So I did say 165 as the target. Could be there or thereabouts if she gets 1540. May enter a lay if we get that. Not this time. Definitely interest in the market from traders, up to 12,000 now. You can see money coming into the market after every point. Does suggest it's going to be tradable. So comes under a bit of pressure, does get the hold. Not sure what flash scores are doing at the moment. Quite often their figures are all over the place. Starter matches, they do correct them eventually. They just tend to blow hot and cold when she's on a good day. Tough to beat. See that even though we're only up to 23,000, market looking healthier. A lot of the money's disappearing as the point's about to be won. Now, it would have been nice if we got 1540 in the last one. And she'd still held, excuse me. Be in a nice position now. And because it does look fairly even, definitely from the research that we looked at the start, definitely favouring Lou. Don't expect it to be particularly easy. Would still prefer a hold here. We're not going to get it. But you never know. Go on, save this one. Not to be. So I'll try a little lay on Lou. Lay on Lou. I'd rather have the green on Lou. I'd say a decent chance of 3 sets. It's going to be close. She did struggle a little bit. She's taken to 30 in the first service game. Can affect their mindset when they go break up. And what we don't want is a straight line graph. What you really don't want is a straight line graph on the player that you favour doing at the start. And having done the research, picked out the right player, you come out with a bit of a red. But there's the breaks. Come on, be kind. Not a good first service game from Hunter. The way Hunter served in that first game, I don't really want to be on her if Lou holds here. Just a message in the chat. The match had been chosen about 3 times. Just kept switching between the two. We weren't actually in a match. We'd done the research. We were just waiting for first this one to start, then Kudermetova to start, then this one to start. So 3-0 to Lou. Is it going to be one-sided? The research didn't suggest it was going to be one-sided. But did suggest that Lou was going to win. And if I was really confident that Lou was going to win, I could always do something silly like backing at 1.42, but long term that's not a good tactic. It works sometimes. Usually just as you do that, the other player raises the game. It's not an encouraging graph for Lou. A few little spikes in it, but so if this does look like being a non-starter, there's plenty of other matches to have a look at. Still got Gadecki Tan going on. They're currently 2-all. Hunter's having a stinker so far. Only that 1 point had gone to Hunter at 15.30 in the first game. If only she's not turned up today. Okay, we've done the research for the other one. I'm not going to shut that market down. I'm going to shut Kudermetova down. Let's have a look at this US Open qualifier that we looked at as well at the start. It's not always very tempting for traders, so I don't know what our liquidity is. Liquidity 2,500. That's not encouraging at all, is it? Where are we? That's the menu dope. Did the research for this one. I'll have a look at it. It does look like Lou's running away with the other one. Should we have video? We do. No expense spared. So a quick look at what's happened. No breakpoints so far. Dancer first held to 40. Gadecki struggled, taken to juice. Then Tan taken to juice, then an easy one for Gadecki, so pretty even. Was favouring Gadecki to win it. And is this where she's going to break just as we join it? Start price looks like around about 1.7. So my A plan usually for a 1.7 favourite that I am favouring is to back round about 2.2 to 2.3. Takes on my ability out 165. Trading Tips subscribers will have seen that frequently. Stats wise, Gadeki's first serve percentage 69, pretty good. 82%. Points won on first serve, lost just 2 points, 3 from 5 on second serve, pretty decent. 47% first serves for Tan. 60% points won on second serve, so she's getting away with it at the minute because second serve points won is good. Lost just 1 point on first serve. Just not a great sample size, just a few games. Slight edge to Gadecki. So she can go behind in this next game. Could be worth a little snifter. Lou's gone 5-0 up. At least the research got it right. As in who's going to win it. Didn't expect it to be 5-0. The research method that I use has been tweaked, tuned over many years. You're never going to get them all right because we're not dealing with robots. Anybody can get on court and not feel it, or have something in the private life that's affecting it. There's any number of things that can mean they don't perform as their stats would suggest they do. But I think it's, if you use the basic method that I use, you're not going to get that many wrong. You're certainly going to get more right than you get wrong. And having a good idea who's going to win the match definitely works well with trading. If the price was just a little bit higher, I'd be putting a little back on. Gadecki, just want a little bit better. So the stats, I would say, are just slightly favouring her, but it's not enough that I would want to get in without it being a good value entry. She started reasonably well. No breakpoints for either. Not a lot of interest from traders. Still under 3,000. So I've got to make sure the stakes that I use match that. Storm Hunter having an absolute nightmare. Very good chance of a bagel. 15.30 down at love 5. Come on, give us a price here. No, that's no good. One-sided first sets can turn around in the second. Not unknown for one player to win the first set 6-love and the other player to win the second one 6-love, and the third set to go to a tiebreak. Not going to say that scenario isn't unusual. Of course it is. And you get a lot more 6-1, 6-2 sets that do turn around. 6 love to Lou. Still no break points. Oh, we do have. Oh god, it's so long since I changed my Geeks Toy settings. I think there's a setting where you can change the width of the boxes. It affects all the boxes on the ladder. Don't know, can't think. Can't think, streaming. Okay, so having favoured Hideki, I really don't want her to break here. See, again in this one I was fairly close to the target price that I wanted. And possibly if it was a better liquidity market I would have just placed a small back on her when she was above evens. I actually did go above 2.1. Don't think she did that while we were watching. Okay, good if she can recover here. Let's just bring over the streaming graphs. Tennis profits. Hideki in blue, first serve percentage, first serve ratings, better for her. Second serve, sorry, first serve points 1, a little better for Tan. And second break point. Second serve points 1. We're a bit dodgy at the start for Hideki, which is why she came under a little bit of pressure. Oh, so we've got a break. Favoured player gets the break. So, Hideki struggled in her first one, held to 15, held to 15. That's been fairly close. Gonna have a late. If it's been close, probably the effect of being a breakup could affect it. The effect could affect it. Bad word use, bad vocabulary. Although it's different effects, it's effect and affect, isn't it? I don't know. I'm sure on Geeks Toy there's individual, you can enter or choose from a drop down how wide you want the boxes. If you don't come up with the answer, I'll have a look at it later. There's obviously a limit to how narrow you can have them because it's still got to display the information. You can make quite a difference. So, is Hideki going to handle being a breakup? As it's a live stream, probably very well. Not lost many points on serve, but she's a breakup. It does have does make a difference, especially to the lower rank players. Their ability to handle being a breakup isn't as good as the top ranked players on tour. Would be nice if that's going to be the case here. Got a point at least. 2 would be good. Bit of scoreboard pressure at love 30 if we can get that. Nope. So in both matches I'm going against the player that I favour to win. Wouldn't have wanted to back Hideki at 1.45. So the other option obviously was just to leave it. A lot of comments I get from these live streams and the videos in general is if you favour a player, why do you lay them? Most matches, you'll have heard me say, if you've watched a reasonable number of my videos, I hate straight line graph because it just doesn't give you a chance to trade. But if you look at most players' graphs, as with Hideki's here, all sorts of spikes and troughs. It's fairly unusual that it does go in a straight line. Do we get a break point here? No, we don't. Of course we don't. Because everything's going wrong in this one. Not so much the trading. The match needs to go the way that we want it to. Nothing wrong with the entries in both matches, to be honest. Both look like being close on paper. And it is frustrating when you pick the right winner, and they do win. And you end up red because you've laid them thinking it's going to be a competitive one. This is obviously more competitive than the Lou match. Hunter might actually get a break at the start of the second set. 3 break points. Not a huge surprise that that's happened. Lou could be forgiven for thinking she was having an easy day. Anyway, we need Tan to get a break point. She hasn't had one yet. There we go, a break point. So we enter at 145. Am I going to take a little bit out? Yes, we are. So we're not dealing with big numbers. Obviously, we're still less than 5,000 matched. Let's move the break-even price down to 137. If you're trading with reduced stakes, you really should follow the same rules as you would with larger ones. We've got second serve here. We're going to get a break back. No. Come on, give me something. Check. No, my mic's still working. I think this has been competitive enough so far, even if Hideki does get the hold to go 5-3 up. I've reduced the liability. I'll stay with it. May enter again, depending how it goes. Assuming everybody else can hear me in the chat. Just Ray that's having issues. Or am I talking to myself? Oh, nobody said anything. My mic's working. According to the streaming software anyway. Yeah, cheers guys. Just your problem, right? Your side. So Tan serving 3-5, bit of pressure, serving to stay in it. And she's not gonna swear. She's not handling it too well. That does show why it's wise to remove some liability if you do get the chance. Yeah. So if Hideki takes this set, She will serve first, obviously, in set 2. I may just add a little bit to the lay. So if we are laying, the thing we want more than anything else is Kadeki to be broken. $122. Okay, let's add a little bit to that lay. Oh, we're going to get matched at 122. Go on, there must be an idiot in the market somewhere that's going to back at 122. Surely. No idiots in the market at all. As usual. Okay. Obviously, it's a given that I'm an idiot in the market. 6,000 matched. So still only 60 quidish liability. I think that's enough for the amount of money that's in the market. Even though she's taken that with a double break, she did have a little wobble after the, oh, excuse me, after the first break. She's going to have a wobble after the last break. I think we've got a decent chance of that happening. Oh, Hunter didn't break. There you go. Couldn't even take 3 break chances. So far, the research has proved correct insofar as who looks like winning. Both did look like they'd be reasonably close. Hunter hasn't held up her side of the bargain. Let's see if Harmony Tan can. Harmony Tan can. Anybody can, Harmony Tan can. Give us a break. Literally, give me a break. No. Also got to bear in mind here, Tan's been broken in her last 2 service games. So this is a bit of a 1-game deal. Break or I'm out. Whether I then re-enter at a set and a break. Possibility. One thing you have to be careful with qualifying rounds is if a player knows they are likely or definitely have a lucky loser place in the main draw. With the rankings of these two, they haven't got. They won't have a lucky loser place. Pretty sure it's all done on ranking. Come on, give us some pressure here. No. Trying to stick to my rules of not getting in or out in the middle of a game. She does look pretty strong at the moment. As Tan's been broken in the last 2 service games. Hunter facing a break point to go 2-0 behind in the second set. Hasn't won a game in the match. Gadecki holds to 15. So as a positive from the stream, so we're not done yet, but research-wise has proved to be pretty solid. So I said Tan's been broken in the last 2 service games. If she gets broken in this one, I always say I need a good reason not to enter. Setting a break. I mean, if this is a really easy break, I'm probably not going to bother, because that'll be 3 games in a row. She's not having her best day. Well, if she does start serving a little bit better, she's serving reasonably well. Hadn't faced a break point until serving at 3-all. Just fell apart a bit after that. So she's got it in her to do better. Can she do it today? Wonder what's happening in Cleveland. Did they ever start that match? Currently, flash scores say 7:20. Although they usually just step the expected time forward every 10 minutes or so. Don't actually have any information. Dan can get a hold. I'd be interested again in trying a late. Still under 8,000 matched. That seems a bit sus. All the stats identical for the set. Obviously possible, but weird. Now she has 40-15. Couldn't take this one. Don't want to be taken to juice. It's not a good sign. was getting tempted not to get in this game because I'm trying not to do that anymore. It's not worth the stress. Usually gets you one tick better, sometimes a couple of ticks worse, depending on how the game goes. If she'd held to 15, I would definitely have laid Gadecki after this game. Second serves letting her down. 40-15 to break point. That's not encouraging. Not encouraging. The serve rating has made a slight upturn. It's going to show a bit of a downturn. So a break point. 2 have been broken in her last 3 service games. The problem with this now is, even if Gadecki gets broken here, the market's not really going to be interested, and it's going to hold a little bit of the price move back until Tan then hold serve for the break, which isn't likely to happen. So if I don't have a reason not to enter, I would automatically enter at setting a break, but that's my reason for not entering. So she's going to break, isn't she? Bloody women. No, I'm going to stick to my rules. I'm not going to enter. There's almost no point breaking if you're not able to hold your own serve. It's a waste of time. So even though just the patterns in tennis that are to setting a break, the player who is setting a break up does relax a little bit, thinks it's easy. You could understand why Gadecki thinks it's easy at the minute. Breaks in the last 3 return games. So I'm not going to be too disappointed that I haven't entered if Tan gets a break, because it's not going to be a huge price move. And chances are she's going to balls up the next service game as well. It's tennis. It can be a turning point, setting a break. It can look like a lost cause, and all of a sudden things turn around. But the momentum of that drop, oops, if you look at the price move for Gadecki, it's quite an urgent move downwards. So I'm probably done with that match. I'm interested to see if what's the weather doing. in good old Cleveland. A couple of hours before the curry gets delivered. Chocolate and curry, what a day. I think at 3-0, I don't see Tan making a comeback. Certainly not the way she played the second half of the first, since halfway through the first set. Make my mind up, I'm going to make a statement. Maybe it would be different if I was favouring Tan pre-match. No. Right, where are we going now? Have we got a scoreboard in? No scoreboard in Cleveland. Rocking over 5-0. Blue, whoa, 1-1 a game. Let's try and find out what's happening in Cleveland. What a surprise, typo. Okay, Twitter, give me your knowledge. Fat chance. Okay, nobody's telling anything. Apparently a viral complaint was the reason for Kalinina's withdrawal. There must be a bug going around, seeing as Towson and her coach were ill yesterday. That's 2 people, that's quite a small sample. Anyway. Oh, just tell me if it's raining. How many hours are they ahead of us? Five hours. Sorry, behind. Of course it's behind. Dope. Rain for a bit. Okay, so let's not bother with Cleveland. Whoa, Hunter's coming back. Till I start watching and then she starts losing again. Right, let's look at the other qualifiers. Here we got Betfair set and 5-1 up. I did look at the Beck Riera match earlier on. Riera was about 1.3. She's a breakup already. Millen 3-0 up. Hibino Chirico looked potentially interesting, but Hibino was too short priced. Time we're on 7:15. Next match doesn't start for half an hour. Daniel Levick. Price figure on her. $3.7. Great. Scott Stevanovic, fairly evenly priced. That's going to be 8 o'clock before that one starts. God, Lou must have been broken a set and break up. Just open that market up again. So she's struggling to hold her own serve. Is Hunter. Let's get some stats on show. Well, not that flash score are going to help very much. 10 miles behind. What on earth? Thanks, guys. They still think it's 1-0. We're going to update it. That'll be good. We're going to do that. 3-1. What are you doing? Well, I'm pretty sure Lou was a breakup. Storm Hunter got back on serve and was then broken straight away. Well, she has completed the break, so she's back on serve again. Let's see if she can hold. Oh, we caught up now. Well done. Right, what? No, she didn't. Oh, mind you, I was looking at flash scores that said Lou had recovered from love 40. Maybe she didn't. Maybe they're making it up. Oh god, she hasn't held serve once in the hasn't held once in the match. And I'm hoping she holds serve. Be a decent price move if she does. Jesus, has she come close? Broken to love. Saved a couple of break points in that one. Broken to 15. This isn't looking hopeful. Turnarounds never look likely. Not many look less likely than this one. Has not held, if flash scores are correct, which again, take it with a pinch of salt the way this is looking. It does look like she hasn't held serve. Broken 6 times. Happy days. Come on, give us a bit of luck. Have a net cord. Luke can shank one into the crowd. Bad line call. Isn't overruled. Whoa. £8, let's hedge. Oh, she's doing well finding first serves, 82%. It's just, I mean, Irani always used to have, and still does, a very high first serve percentage. It was just such a crap, ineffectual serve. Come on, you can do it this time. Do it for the team. Come on, you can't go the whole match and not hold serve once. Surely got to give her more confidence that she's broken Lou twice in this set. 3 times in this set. You can take this set. You can do it. Come on, believe. You're called Storm. That just means your parents are stupid. Storm, behave. I was thinking of something positive for being called Storm. It's not, it's just your parents are stupid. Sorry. Don't call your kids Storm. They're going to get beaten up at school every day. Come on, I believe in you. No way. Maybe I could be a coach. Two chances for the first hold of the match. No, just somehow do it. Ugh. This time. You've broken Lou 3 times in the set. Get a hold. Get a grip. Oh, net cord. Come on. Oh, come on. Just 40-15 up. Well, it was looking hopeful for a little while. She's Finding 1,000,001 ways to get broken. Now I no longer believe in you. You crap. Another chance. £17 greens looking pretty attractive at the moment. No way. No way. Well, this could be interesting. Probably should take the green, but first hold, and she's broken her opponent 3 times. She's got to be feeling a bit better than she was at love 6 in the first. Didn't even look at loose stats for the set. Pretty rubbish. 50% one on first serve. Only had 3 second points. It's worth giving Hunter a chance to break. Probably should have removed some liability. Actually, definitely should have. Dipstick. Too busy withdrawing on, checking stats. Oh, she's not going to hold twice. Got a break in this game. It's not going to happen, is it? If Lou holds here, I'm not going to wait to see if Hunter can hold again. It's a break or nothing. It's nothing. Well, I got rid of the tiny reds, replaced it with tiny green. I think it was worth waiting. Blue's been broken 3 times in this set. You would think Hunter would... She breaks now. Do not break now. You would think Hunter would be feeling a lot better about herself. I just had her first hold. Got my rule up right. Middle of the game. Surely she's not going to break now. No, not dudes. She's going to break, isn't she? Don't break. Just hold. Oh, don't do this to me. This is why I have the rule, and I'm really struggling to stick to it. I might enter at juice. So stupid. Second serve. She's going to get juice. I know she's... Oh, Paul, you're such a moron. What's the point of having rules if you don't stick to them? They're there. Ugh. a reason. Out at 115, back in at 134. So obviously Lou's going to hold out. That's really irritating. Why can't I stick to that rule? Why can't I stick to the rule? It's such a simple rule. Don't get out in the middle of a game. And you get a bit of FOMO, you get back in at a crap price, and she's going to hold. Oh, might get lucky. Awful price, 134. What are you thinking? I mean, she could break and hold. It's not a bad price. She ain't gonna break and hold. Break would be good. I'd take that. Probably should take 22, to be honest. What was Lou up 40 love? She wasn't, she? So she's got to be having a bit of a wobbly knee moment. Come on, be kind. You. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. Blaming nobody. What a shit price, 134. How was I thinking? It's wiser to get out. Not a huge liability. Let's be brave. I've been being stupid. Let's do brave as well. Because we know how that works, don't we? Gonna do brave, do it fully. I wouldn't be staying in for her to serve out the set. Be nice to get this break. Don't deserve it. Okay, so bravery. She's going to screw this up. And more or less got out at the same price that I got in. Excuse me. Fortunate that a bit of FOMO stupidity didn't cost me anything. That cost me £1.51. I still think, apart from just ignore the last two entries there, that were absolute dog poo. It's definitely worth giving Hunter a chance. Lou's levels really dropped off in this set. Hunter's hasn't really improved enough. She's Probably improved a little bit on the return side. So, we've got a new time. Can't afford to fix his car, but he can have quad bikes and whatever that is. Morons everywhere. They're everywhere. Alright, let's see if some miracle hunter can hold again. See if there's any update from Cleveland. No. So I was just doing the usual, moving it forward 10 minutes, start time. So I'm going to get sucked into this again. How much do I want to risk? Not a lot. Yes, the entry at 134 was definitely a mistake. Which was quite classic FOMO, fear of missing out. I do have a rule that I don't exit or enter in the middle of a game, because that's cost me so many times over the years. And at the start of this year, or the start of last year, I forget, I decided, right, stop messing about, don't do it. And the annoying thing is, it's an old habit, and old habits are the hardest to get rid of, aren't they? But I've shown myself this year that it works. So you would think it'd be easy just to stick to it. It's not difficult, or shouldn't be difficult to stick to it. But when Lou got to 40.15, I just thought, Hunter's screwed it up. She's had a chance, whatever. Let's just get out and save myself an extra £2 red or whatever. I need to come up with a way to make myself stick to it. I do stick to it a lot, but there are still times where I don't, and I would say 70% of the time it costs me. It doesn't save me. The reason I do it, and have done it over the years, is to try and save myself losing more red than I need to, or hang on to more of the green if things are sort of turning against me. Don't know. I need to get my head around it and find out why I can't just follow a basic simple rule. Bad habits are the toughest to break. Yeah, I don't suppose it's an uncommon one, unusual one. It's just frustrating that spotted it as an issue, I've shown myself this year that it works to stick to that rule and not follow the old habit. And I suppose it's when I'm not. I think it's when I've given up on a player. That's something I have noticed. When I've given up on a player and they go behind again, I just think, oh, enough's enough. My red's not big. Let's just get out of this without anything bad. And almost, I say it must be 70% of the time. Had I stayed in, it turns around, and if it does go the way and they do get broken, or it is an easy hold, or whatever it is, the saving of it is anything from 2 ticks to -1 tick. I was actually worse off by doing it, if that makes sense. There's not like a huge saving you're going to make, but potentially, I mean, in this case, I'd laid at, what had I laid at, 112 or something, took some liability out, can't remember. But had I stayed in, I'd have come away with at least a reasonable, half respectable profit, given that it was a low liquidity match. Well, 105 grand in the end, matched. So £2 profit, every little helps. This goes. Okay, so Kurumpatova still says rain delay, so let's forget about that one. Time we're on. I mean, I've been involved in a few matches in this one. Hopefully you've seen something of use, if only don't follow your bad habits. I think I'm flogging a dead horse a little bit tonight. Yeah, by the time there is a match, Scott-Stevanovic, 8:10, but by the time that's started, even if it starts at that time, it's dragging on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, so I am going to call it a day there. A bit of a mixed bag, as in the initial planned match was cancelled, Kalinina pulling out with some sort of viral complaint. I think it was useful to look at the 2 matches research-wise. Did turn out to be, what was the final result in the other one? Where is it? Yeah, Gadecki and Lou both winning in straight sets, so hopefully that helps you to do your own research if you haven't seen that method before. Does work well, doesn't work every time. Don't expect it to give you the winner every time, because it doesn't. Players aren't robots. But I am going to call that a day for tonight. There'll be another live stream next week. So this was an extra one because, was it Saturdays, Fridays or Saturdays? We weren't very lucky with the matches. I do want to try and do more than 2 per month. The US Open next week could be tricky, but I'll see where I can squeeze in. So thanks for sticking with it as long as you did, assuming I'm still talking to somebody. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will see you on the next video.